If you've ever stared at a diaper and thought, is this normal or do I need to call my baby's doctor? You are not alone. As a pediatrician, I have been given the gift of parents bringing diapers from home to show me all the time with that exact question. Is it normal? I'm Dr. Mona, and we're talking about baby poop, what's normal, what's not, and when to get your baby evaluated. And remember, subscribe for calm, practical pediatric guidance, and let's get into it. There is no single definition of normal baby poop. Normal can depend on context. 3 things matter most: your baby's age, what they're eating, and how your baby is acting overall. Babies can have normal variation from one poop to the next, even in the same day. Patterns over time matter more than single moments. But let's start at the beginning, because newborn poop changes fast, and as a new parent, I totally understand the worries. Days 1 to 2, your baby passes something called meconium. It's thick, sticky, and dark green to black. Think tar-like. It's not that easy to clean, but it's very normal. Meconium is made up of what your baby swallowed before birth, and it's supposed to come out early. The one time to call during this stage is if your baby has not passed meconium in the first 24 to 48 hours, because we're going to want to check in. Around days 3 to 4, this is the transition phase, and honestly, it can look a little different baby to baby. Stool color can turn to green or yellow, and the texture can change. And it can change from diaper to diaper. This is not your baby going downhill. This is their digestion coming online. Day 5 and beyond, now poop starts reflecting what your baby's eating. So breastfed babies often have yellow, loose, seedy stools. Formula-fed babies usually have yellow to brown stools that are thicker and more paste-like. One is not better. There's not a competition here. And it's also when many parents experience their first truly impressive blowout. Loose newborn stools plus tiny abdominal muscles can create force that feels personal. So those blowouts are very common. As dramatic as it is, this is very common and not a problem if your baby is feeding well and acting like themselves. Color is one of the biggest stressors for parents, so let's try to simplify this. And yes, did I wear green in honor of this conversation? Maybe I did. So a lot of anxiety can show up around color, and here's the big picture. Baby poop can almost be any color of the rainbow, especially earth tones. Yellow, mustard, tan, brown, green, olive, darker green, and even a little orange can all be normal, depending on the baby, their age, and their gut. Green poop in particular gets a bad reputation, but it's usually harmless. It can happen with normal digestion, iron-fortified formula or vitamins, faster gut transit, or mild illness. If your baby is feeding well, acting like themselves, and making normal wet diapers, again, color is usually not the issue. But we also have to talk some nuance, because there are some colors we do want evaluated. Red stools can mean blood, but the reason matters. Sometimes it's a small anal fissure, which is a crack around the anus or butthole from a hard stool passing. Sometimes it's irritation or inflammation. And in some newborns, it can be related to a milk protein intolerance. And yes, occasionally it can signal something more serious. Red can also come from food dyes or red foods in your older infant, but if you're not completely sure, treat it as blood and give us a call. Black stools are normal only during the newborn meconium phase, and again, it's sticky and tar-like. After that, black stools can mean digested older blood from higher up in the GI tract and should always be checked. White, gray, or very pale stools are also a reason you should give us a call. These colors can point to a problem with bile flow from the liver or gallbladder, meaning the bile is not reaching the stool the way it should. Fun fact, our poop is green because of bile. That said, this does not automatically mean something dangerous. I have had many children with gray stools where we did the imaging and blood work to make sure everything was okay and everything came back normal, and the stools resolved on their own. But these colors do deserve a call. Now, if the stools look like clay, chalk, putty, or ash, do not wait. The takeaway here is balance. Many strange colors are harmless, but red, black after the newborn stage, and white or gray are always worth checking out. And just a reminder about a call out about these poops. One diaper of any of these colors and your child is acting well, you can monitor. But if it persists in those colors, it's important to have them seen and bring the poop in so that you can show one of us. Now, color tends to get the spotlight, but consistency matters just as much. Breastfed babies often have looser stools. Formula-fed babies often have thicker stools. For both, the goal is softness. Diarrhea is not one loose stool. It is stools that are more watery than usual and more frequent than usual for your baby. Blowouts alone do not equal diarrhea. They're just messy overachievers. What we worry about is fluid loss. So if baby looks dehydrated, feeding's not going well, there's no wet diapers. When it comes to constipation, it's not about how often your baby poops as much as it is about how the stool looks like when it comes out. Hard, dry, pellet-like stools, or clearly painful stooling with pellet-like stools are concerning. Grunting, straining, and red faces can be normal in young babies and does not automatically mean constipation. Small amounts of mucus can happen, but persistent mucus, especially with blood or discomfort, needs an evaluation. Now, there's a wide range of normals. Some babies poop multiple times a day. Others, especially breastfed babies, may go days between stools and then have one very large diaper. Both can be very normal. And like I said, some breastfed babies can go 7 to 10 days without pooping and it can still be completely normal. This sentence makes a lot of new parents nervous, so here's the nuance. This is normal only if your baby is feeding well at the breast, seems comfortable, is not straining in pain, has soft stools when they go, and is gaining weight appropriately. Breast milk is absorbed very efficiently, so sometimes there just is not much waste to pass. What is not normal is a baby who's uncomfortable, clearly struggling to stool, poor feeding, poor weight gain, or other red flags we've already talked about. So again, this comes back to the same rule. It's not about the number or the days. It's about the baby, how they're acting. So ask yourself these questions. Is your baby feeding well? Yes, awesome. Wet diapers normal? Awesome. Are stools soft when they happen? Great. Are there any red flags mentioned already? No. If all of that's the case, you can monitor. Now, if this kind of nuance in education is helpful, please make sure you're subscribed because many of you watch the videos but don't subscribe, and that's what really helps this channel grow. So now, poop changes do not always mean something is wrong. Sometimes they happen simply because your baby's gut is growing and learning. Digestion in the first year is a work in progress. The gut is maturing, bacteria are shifting, and stools can change even when nothing obvious has changed in your diet as a breastfeeding parent or if you're switching formula. So before blaming the last bottle, food, or bite of something new, remember this: not every poop change needs a culprit. And here's a personal example. My son was formula fed, and we formula fed him the same formula. And one day his poop was a consistency in one color. The next day he wasn't even sick. We didn't even change the formula, same amount, and the poop changed. Why? His gut is changing. We forget that in the first 3 months especially, the gut microbiome is constantly changing, and with that can mean different types of poops. So a lot of times breastfeeding parents will think that the stuff that they're eating or drinking is automatically changing the poop and making their baby have those poops. But in reality, like the example I told you, it can just be the baby's gut changing, and look at it as changing for the better. That said, some common reasons that poop can change temporarily: feeding changes like switching formulas, adding formula to breast milk, or changing ratios, starting solids, which leads to thicker stools, stronger smells, and colors that match what we eat, illness, which can bring looser or more frequent stools or even mucus into the poop, and that should be short-lived. Medications and supplements, iron often darkens stools, and antibiotics can change patterns. Remember, changes are expected, and patterns matter more than one diaper. And if this section is helping things click, subscribe. These are the conversations that help parents worry less and feel more confident. Most poop changes alone are not dangerous. The real concern is dehydration. So monitor at home if your baby is feeding well, acting like themselves, and making normal wet diapers. That's awesome. Call your pediatrician if stools become very watery and frequent, last more than a day or two, or if there's ongoing mucus. And call if feeding decreases, wet diapers drop, your baby seems off, or you feel like they may not be gaining weight. Young infants who cannot keep fluids down need prompt evaluation. Now here are some rapid fire poop myths, which I know you've been waiting for. Green poop always means something is wrong. False. Green stool is usually just a variation of normal digestion. It can happen with faster gut transit, iron in formula or supplements, mild illness, or even just normal day-to-day changes like my baby. If your baby is feeding well and acting like themselves, green poop alone is not the problem. Straining always means constipation. False. Many young babies grunt, strain, and turn red while learning how to coordinate their abdominal muscles. If the stool is soft when they pass, that is not constipation, even if it looks dramatic. Now, there is something called infant dyschezia, and if you want to learn more about that, comment below and maybe I'll create another video. One weird diaper equals an emergency. This is usually false because a single diaper does not tell the whole story. Babies have normal variation from one stool to the next. What matters more is the pattern over time and how your baby is acting. Or if there's a red flag like the colors I mentioned and your baby is acting fine and it's persistent, let us evaluate. So here's the bottom line. Most baby poop changes are normal. Pay attention to patterns and not one diaper. Call when colors are red, black, or white or gray, especially if it's persistent. If it's one poop and they're otherwise acting fine, you can monitor. And if you have questions, drop them in the comment section. Remember, myself and my team of medical and parenting experts are here to provide education and general guidance. This does not replace medical advice from your child's clinician. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, share it with another parent, and follow along for more on child health development and parenting. I'll see you all next time. Stay well.